Chapter 14. Was it a scam / what they did not tell you? We started a professional independent baseball league. Let me be clear, to those of you who may have heard otherwise, this league was never a scam. It was a courageous attempt to provide a meaningful opportunity for African American baseball players to play baseball and promote diversity in the game. Unfortunately, we faced a series of unforeseen financial events that we did not anticipate. While we did secure seed funding to start the league, it simply wasn't enough for ongoing operations. Once we set the wheels in motion without that essential cash flow, it became increasingly clear that we could not keep the league going. I can't tell it all, but it's all in the book at your Diary247.us. That's your Diary247.us.
Get the book to read the whole story at yourdiary247.us.
And the opinion. Let me tell you something, being a former Major League scout, the scouted for 5 teams. The opinions of most of the scouts, back in the day, old school scouts, and it hasn't changed much from back in the day to today, was that most of your African American baseball players, talent and ability level was raw, and it was 2 to 3 years behind other developed ball players. In other words, they're not going to become a draft pick and or go play in the minor leagues because their talent and ability is not there, and it needs to be developed. And as I said on a Zoom call I was on with some other baseball organizations the other day, in this day and era that we live in, Major League Baseball is not going to invest 2 to 3 years in an unpolished baseball player by drafting him and sending him to the minor leagues just to get him up to that level that he needs to be there, and then invest another 2 to 3 years. I mean,
not
more
too much
years.
money. Not too much money to do that.
Well, they just ain't gonna do it. The game didn't change. First round draft picks are being pushed up to the major leagues with 1 to 2 years.
Well, again, they did a reorganization. MLB did a reorganization where they cut like half of their minor league teams. They had to because they were getting sued. They got sued because the guys weren't making maybe minimum wage and this and that and the other. So what did they do? They cut it. I actually was doing some research not long ago and looking at independent leagues and how they have partnerships. They have partnerships with the independent leagues, but if it's not a MLB, a quote MLB minor league team, then it's less liability, less things that they have to work with. And, they can pull players from there, but they cut down the minor leagues and that are MLB associated.
Yeah, but what do? They go in there and invest in collegiate leagues. And then when you look at these collegiate leagues around the country that they invested in, you're still the same as it is with the minor leagues and independent teams. You have 1, 2, maybe 3 United States born African American players on the team. So it ain't benefiting independent ball, minor league baseball, and major league baseball is really not benefiting the black players because they're not playing on those levels. So what do you have to do? You got to have a league that's going to develop these players, give them an opportunity to play, and then once again do like they do in these Latin countries. They get these players, they develop them, and then they have a big trial where all of the international scouts run over there and see these top ball players, and they sign in these 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old Latin players for $10, $15, $20 million to come play in the minor leagues, not guarantee the major leagues. But they didn't develop them, they didn't polish them, they didn't tighten them up, they didn't drilled in them how to play. And then they'll tell you, and I heard so much stuff over 40 years. Well, the reason why you see so many Latin players in the game and you don't see the black players is because the Latin players are more hungry for the game.
That doesn't make any sense. That's a lame excuse.
And I sit there and I scratch my
If you have a ball player, you have a ball player. They're hungry. Whether it's baseball, basketball, football, whatever. If you have a ball player, they all hungry. I mean, a true ball player.
I don't doubt they're hungry, and I don't doubt they have that desire because they see, for some of them, that's their way out of poverty. But the fact of the matter is, when they say that they're hungry and they desire, and when they get to the major leagues, do you know that the least you can make on a major league roster is $500,000? $500,000 is the minimum salary.
$500,000 now.
So how is you hungry when you coming over here, you becoming millionaires? After 2 years, after a year or two, they get arbitration, and I looked at some players getting $3-4 million. I saw one player that was traded to 3 different teams last year, and he just signed, I think, a $30 million contract.
Dang. What player was that?
I ain't gonna say his name because they be.
I want to be his agent.
And he's a pitcher, a major league pitcher that went to 4 different teams last year, including the team he was traded from. And as a free agent,
he's got a great agent. He's got a great agent.
Signed, I think $30 million for 3 or 4 years. And I scratch my head. I mean, let me tell you something. Don't get me started. Okay. So don't tell me that these players are more hungry for the game when they get paid. They get paid when they get over it.
All of them get paid. Yeah, all of them get paid.
I saw some Latin players, 17 years old, that signed $15, $20 million signing bonus just last week to go play in the minor leagues. So that's a
lot of them don't even pan out either. To be honest with you, you know.
You got to understand. Very few that go to the minor leagues.
Some of them do, some of them don't. You know.
Most of them don't. But again, when you say Major League Baseball, the minor leagues, and they cutting teams, they wasn't cutting teams because they was losing no money or they couldn't pay the players. That's $1 billion industry.
It's more than $1 billion industry.
I'm being nice.
Each team is worth billions of dollars. You know what I mean? It's probably got to be worth 20, 30, 50 billion. You know.
I'm being nice. So, you know.
You're the nice guy now?
I'm being the nice guy.
I thought I was a good cop. You were the bad cop.
Oh, well, you know, we have to switch up every now and then. You know, Batman and Robin. Sometimes Robin want to be Batman. So, you know, but these guys not ready for draft. They undeveloped. So they spend time in these urban developmental leagues. And baseball invests money into programs that they can control. And so they can say they're doing some. And then you got the HBCU college tournaments and showcase tournaments that Major League Baseball is sponsoring to quote unquote give these African American baseball players more exposure. They're doing summer collegiate leagues that most African American baseball players not even on rosters, and it's not getting these African American baseball players to the show or opportunity. Again, 30 major league teams, 750 players, less than 30 African American baseball players in the last 10 years. So if these urban programs have been around all these years, where is the development? Where's the advancement for African American baseball players? Or as you said, is there really a true concern for African American baseball players to be a part of Major League Baseball? Do they really think about it? Or do they just think PR, okay, the media go come at us, or somebody's go challenge us because of the lack of black players playing in the major leagues? So what's our comeback? Well, we got these urban initiative programs that we're investing money in. We got all these black major league players that can't even coach in the major leagues, but we gonna let them run these urban camps and clinics around the country and pay them well. And then we go put it up and say we're doing this and that for the African American baseball players to promote more black players playing baseball. Sounds like a PR game, Juan.
It is. I mean, every business comes down to the PR game, what they tell you. I mean, no business really has it would be dumb of them behind the scenes to tell you everything they had, like their true business. Again, is about money, but.
Chapter 14. Was it a scam / what they did not tell you? We started a professional independent baseball league that focused on a league for African American players to play baseball. The league operated successfully for 30 of the 60 days it was scheduled to be in operation for its inaugural season. We started in June and ran until the end of June before it folded due to a lack of cash flow. Although the entire season wasn't completed, we provided 4 teams of talented African American baseball players with a platform to play baseball for a whole month. They were adequately housed and fed, and umpires were paid throughout those first 30 days. It's all in the book at your Diary247.us. That's your Diary247.us.